Hey, what's up? It's Tinkerberg Plays here with yet another video for you to enjoy. In this video I will be going over the sorcery power and giving you guys the best DPS rotation or loadout in the year 2023. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. You guys know how it goes. I'm gonna open the traits menu here and select loadouts. Now if you don't know, I like to order my powers from left to right. I just think it makes it a little bit easier to remember and follow. Again, that's just my opinion. You don't have to follow, but that's gonna be what I recommend. Now for the first power in this rotation, we're going to have Circle of Destruction. It's going to have a cooldown time of 12 seconds and a power cost of 300. Conjure a glowing sigil beneath your target, continuously damaging any enemies that dare tread upon it. So this is going to be your typical damage over time type deal. With this rotation, you're going to go ahead and get that off right off the bat. For power interaction, it has inflicts bad karma, making enemies vulnerable to karmic effects. Now this is going to be your typical damage buff for your other powers down the line. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now once you get Circle of Destruction off, you're going to want to go ahead and top into Transmutation. And you can swap out Transmutation for Karmic Suspension. Either one is okay, but I did run a test, and from what I found, Transmutation does do a little bit more damage, so I opted to put that for this tutorial. So it's got a cooldown time of 3 seconds and a power cost of 200. Blast your target nearby enemies with a burst of supernatural energy, damaging and knocking them down. For a power interaction, again, it has inflicts bad karma, making enemies vulnerable to karmic effects. Another damage buff on top of the first. Now for your next power, you're going to want to go ahead and launch Shard of Life. It's got a cooldown time of 6 seconds and a power cost of 300. Create an explosive magical shard above your target, damaging it and nearby enemies over time. So what's really cool about this one, on top of the damage over time, it's also got that bit of splash damage for an extra effect. For a power interaction, now this is where you're going to start to see that damage buff. Bad karma affected enemies take additional damage. So for the next power, you've got Soul Barrage. This is gonna be your heavy hitter. This is really gonna be what's gonna get you that max damage in any raid or alert. It's got a cooldown time of 1.9 seconds. Please take note of that cooldown time. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the next power. It's got a power cost of 200. Launch a barrage of deadly soul projectiles at your enemies, damaging them in quick succession. Again, it's going to get that power buff from the bad karma affected enemies, or not power buff, sorry, damage buff from the bad karma affected enemies. So for the next power, we're going to have Vengeance. Now remember when I said to pay attention to that cooldown time, so while Soul Barrage is recharging, this is where you're going to hit the enemy with the Vengeance in rapid succession. Again, it's got that quick cooldown time of 0.5 seconds and a power cost of 100. Direct a destructive beam of magical energy at your target, dealing damage. Again, bad karma affected enemies take additional damage, so you've got that damage buff again. So once you launch Vengeance 3 times, in that time, Soul Barrage is going to have recharged. You're going to get that damage, that really maxed out damage again with Soul Barrage, and you'll swap out between these two powers. While Circle of Destruction is recharging, once it has recharged, you're going to go ahead and launch Circle of Destruction again and start this rotation over and get that damage over time started, and then hit him with the Soul Barrage with that maxed out damage, and then Vengeance to top it off. So for the last power, I have my Summon, the Fury. It's got a cooldown time of 1.5 seconds and a power cost of 300. Summon a Destructive Fury to damage and knock down your enemies. While in combat with your Fury alive, your passive power regeneration is reduced. Hold the Summon Fury button for 3 seconds to banish. So it's basically a pet that does additional damage on the side. Again, I think this is the best one for DPS. So if you pay attention to that part, while in combat with your Fury alive, your passive power regeneration is reduced. You got to pay attention to that. That's just something to note with summoning this Fury. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the actual rotation. So I'm going to launch Circle of Destruction, Transmutation, Shard of Life, Soul Barrage, Vengeance 3 times, Soul Barrage, and then Vengeance 3 times again. And then back to Circle of Destruction. And that's it. So I'll go ahead and let you guys see how this plays out, and later on in the video I'll give you guys an in-game demonstration of how this power plays out in raids. so you can see it in action. Stay tuned.
This operation is now under the jurisdiction of Task Force X. For the duration, you will be working with villains from the Suicide Squad to complete the objective. Focus on the mission. We'll keep your guests in line.
Zod and his forces have become more dangerous since their escape from the Phantom Zone. His latest efforts are no exception. Lois has the coordinates to the Brainiac bottle ship, and Zod has threatened to use the Science Spire's laser technology on Metropolis if she doesn't hand them over. Supergirl is on the way to lend a hand. Find Zod and put an end to this nonsense.
This has gone on long enough.
If it isn't the Maid of Might, is Kal-El too cowardly to face me?
Maid? You feeling okay, Zod? Phantom Zone jet lag dragging you down?
Give me the coordinates to Brainiac's ship, if you want to save Metropolis.
laser.
I am invincible!
Reinforcement!
I am Kryptonian!
I need backup!
I really need to speak with Lex about why you still have this laser anyway.
That's it! Pathetic Earthling! No! Impossible! Attend to your duty and charge the laser! You will kneel before Zod! I will not be defeated!
Are you done playing now?
Kneel before Zod!
I need backup!
Attend to your duty and charge the laser! Pathetic Earthling! No more! You will kneel before Zod! I will not be defeated! No! Impossible! You, of all people, should want to free what remains of Krypton's legacy from Brainiac.
I do want to free Kandor, but it has to be done carefully and not at the expense of others.
Then let me help you. I can help you infiltrate the Brainiac ship.
You help me? How could I trust you?
When it comes to saving Kandor, you can.
You better not be trying to play us.
Zod does not play.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right. We go straight to the Brainiac ship and straight back. Kandor will leave with me.